Hello, welcome to the National Baseball League. Alright, here's board number 1 for yesterday's recap. So we start with the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Philadelphia Liberty. Series tied at 1 after the Philadelphia Liberty wins 7-5 over the Vancouver Grizzlies. So, pretty close game, but Philly comes out on top. A lot of hits in this ball game, as you can see, 16 for Philly. So a lot of hits, but not great. The runs didn't come through, though, for both teams. So, yeah, a lot of runs, but the defenses, they did a pretty good job. And Philly, they took that lead late in the ball game, and they shut down the Grizzlies to win 7-5, tying the series 1 game apiece. Then we had the Las Vegas Gamblers and the Chicago Railers. Pretty good game for Vegas. 15 hits, and they scored 9 runs. They do have to commit an error, but it doesn't matter. They get a lead. They just get such a big lead that Chicago, good luck. And the Gamblers held on to win 9-3 to the Railers. So Vegas getting some wins. Series tied at 1 in that series. Then we head over to the Boston Whalers in the Oakland Ocean. And Boston's over on the other side of the country now. In Boston, Massachusetts, Cambridge. Because the Boston Whalers play in Cambridge, not Boston. So Whalers, pretty close game between them and the Oakland Ocean. Not a lot of some hits, but not only 1 run scored in the entire game. It's for the Whalers with a 1-0 win on 9 hits. They commit an error themselves, but they hold on to the 1-0 win, tying the series 1 game apiece. So I'll see where this goes. And then we had the first of a 3-game series between the Albuquerque Aliens, and I think I erased it because I screwed up the SF and then I forgot to rewrite it. That's what happened there. I'm not going to fix it. But so the Firebirds here with a 4-2 win. San Francisco winning pretty close game. 7 base hits both teams, but the Firebirds, they bring in a couple extra runs late and they win it 4-2 over the Albuquerque Aliens. So the Aliens, they lose one here. And this might give room for the San Diego Seals to break through a bit. But they need to win first because they didn't win. We'll get to that game. It is not on this board. I used to think. Yeah, it's not on this board. That's on board number 2, which I'll have in a bit. Ooh. So fixed it. So then we end the New York Sailors and the Atlanta Arrows. Second of a 3-game set between the two. So the New York Sailors here, looks like they had a really good start. And then I'm kind of just estimating, just guessing what happened. So it looks like the Sailors, 1 of 2 things even happened here. Actually 1 of 3 things could have happened. My first possibility is the Sailors, they jump out in front with a big lead, and then Atlanta tries to come back, and they ultimately fail. Or the other way around could have happened, where Atlanta takes a 5-0 lead, or something like that, and the Sailors make a comeback. That could have happened as well. What also could have happened is they just one-up each other, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, something along those lines. But however it got to that result, the Sailors, they get to that bottom of the 9th. They hold on tightly. Could have been a walk-off as well, because I don't like that it doesn't really tell me all that. Sailors win narrowly, 6-5 over the Atlanta Arrows, and they win the series with this game. Looking for the sweep today. Then we head to the Northern Lights and the Minnesota Northern Lights and the Montreal Expos. It's a similar story of what I can guess a bit what happened. So Minnesota, they jumped out to that lead, and they held on to that lead to win 5-2 over the Montreal Expos. 10 hits, no errors. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Montreal Expos. Themselves, they just didn't get a lot of runs home, and they lose the game 5-2 to Minnesota, and the series tied 1 game apiece. Then we head over to Cincinnati, New Orleans. So we're going to Ohio for this game. It's the only one where we'll go to Ohio, but the other Ohio teams on this board too. So a pretty close game. New Orleans Gators with a 7-5 victory over the Cincinnati Stingers. Pretty close one, pretty back and forth. It has to have been that way just because of how close it is. New Orleans making some mistakes defensively. It's probably why this game was close, but offensively they just hammer. Their lineup played well. They got 15 hits and they scored. Despite Cincinnati's good defense, because this is similar to the Philly-Vancouver game up here, similar-ish. Not as extreme, but similar-ish in a sense. So, the Cincinnati Stingers, they couldn't shut down New Orleans, and then the Gators did a fantastic job just shutting the Stingers down, and New Orleans wins 7-5, tying the series at 1 game apiece. The way to the Houston Cosmos and the St. Louis Stars. Really close one here, but I'm surprised. Houston did a great job. Just look at the hit totals for the St. Louis Stars. The Stars had 17 hits in this ballgame. They had to work their butt off to get that 4th run in to win the game. They had to work their butt. My guess is it went to multiple extra innings, and what just kept happening over and over and over again is that they get like a runner or two on base, and that's what would contribute. And then so it would have those one or two runners on base, and then the inning would end. Probably what added to that total, because that is a lot of runs, and they probably will walk off. Stars went 4-3, tying the series at 1 against the Houston Cosmos, and we're going to Canada. So the Toronto Huskies and the Utah Raptors. It's just set from the get-go. Utah, big lead, and that one, they get a 4, 5, 6 run lead over Utah. And the Raptors just missed a run. They just could never really break through. And they had success, but nothing really ever. They didn't really break through. They at least got on the board, but they struggled the whole game. Offensive win, the Toronto Huskies win 6-1. We head to Washington, where the Columbus Aviators, the Monuments going head to head in this one. Columbus took game 1 on Saturday, and they followed up with a 5-4 win against the Washington Monuments here on 13 hits. They make 2 errors, but their offense is really good. They're just good enough to win. 13 runs, 13 hits, 5 runs scored, and they keep the Monuments down. They win it 5-4, and they win this series. Looking for the sweep today. We'll see. Hopefully they can get it. I'd love to see a good Aviators sweep. The win to New York. First of a 3-game series between the New York Knights and the Tampa Bay Titans. So New York, I can do something like that where, because my guess here is that maybe the game was tied at some point, but then New York, they jumped in. They scored a couple runs by home run, maybe some hits, like hits that were in the park, some RBI, singles, doubles, triples, that type of stuff. And then they just rode that wave for the rest of the game, winning 5-3 over the Tampa Bay Titans to take a 1-0 series lead. I'll cover game 2 in just about at 7 o'clock tonight. So that'll be fun. Let's lead the series 1-0 over the Tampa Bay Titans. So the way head to the final board game on this board. We start board number 2 after this, so I'm not done yet. Texas Twisters with a 4-2 win over the Detroit Motors. Twisters, again, similar to this game. Might have been tied at one point, but then Texas jumps out to that lead. And then they hold on to that lead for the rest of the game to win 4-2 over the Detroit Motors on 5 hits and an error. Detroit Motors 2 runs, 6 hits. They couldn't bring the runs home, therefore the comeback didn't actually happen. Twisters win 4-2, series tied 1 apiece. See you for board number 2. So, here's board number 2. So, we got the Portland Anchors and the San Diego Seals. Series tied at 1. So, this is the one I covered. Portland just shut San Diego down. It was a defensive masterpiece start to finish. Fantastic defensively. They allowed 3 hits, that's it. Really good job pitching, really good job fielding. some good double plays were in there as well. And Portland, in that fourth inning, they really expanded that lead in some 3 home runs, and they win 6-0. Series tied at 1. And it's simple as that. Then we had to Seattle and Edmonton. Second of a 3 game set. Seattle with the second one of those series. They win this series. Looking for the sweep today against the Edmonton Eagles. This one's a close one. They win 2-1. 7 hits for the Seattle Sasquatch. 5 hits for the Edmonton Eagles. Great defense on both sides here. Seattle, late in the game, they get that second run in, and then that wins them the game. It could have been a walk-off. I don't know. And they lead 2-0 look for the series sweep today. Then we headed to Orlando Sunrise, the Memphis Blues. Final game for yesterday. Orlando Sunrise struggling again defensively. And they get 2 runs, 5 hits, but they give up 6 runs to the Memphis Blues into even the series. So after that walk-off win the Bayfront Classic, they go back to Orlando, and then they just get defensively they played like garbage. Who got a lot of that just so quick? This is Orlando now. They get a win. They get a couple wins. Cool. Maybe they can turn around, and then they end up right back to this type of stuff. So that's what the Orlando Sunrise are. Series tied at 1 there. That'll do it. I'm Thomas Rose. See ya. Tune into the game tonight.